So those are the things I was getting into when we're talking about the desire dynamic. Now, what is the desire dynamic? I'm glad you asked. I will share my screen. This is actually from my blog, and this is where it originates from, Alex. August 25th, 2011. That's how old this is. You cannot negotiate desire. Look at that, black right there, all the way back from 2011. Wow. It was such a simple time back then. All right, so this is what I wrote, and this is a very short essay, so I won't belabor too much. And if I get a little wordy, it's because it was 2011. All right. This is a very simple principle that most men and the vast majority of women are willfully ignorant of, including Alex. One of the most common personal problems I've been asked advice for the past 10 years, this is when I was on the SoSwap forums, is some variation of how do I get her back? How do I get my girlfriend back? Usually this breaks down into men seeking some methodology to return his relationship to an earlier state where a previously passionate woman couldn't keep her hands off of him. 6 months into the comfortable familiarity and the thrill is gone. But in truth, it's the genuine desire that is gone. It's often at this stage that a man will resort to negotiation because men are problem solvers, right? We want to find deductive reasons. Let me put myself up here. There we go. You don't need to see all that. You want to see deductive reasons, like simple reasons to complex problems, right? Men tend to, we're problem solvers, but we're deductive problem solvers. So let's put that, that looks better. Okay. It's often at this stage that the man will resort to negotiation. Sometimes this can be as subtle as him progressively doing things for her in the hopes that she'll reciprocate with the same sexual fervor that they used to have. Other times, a married couple may go to marriage counseling, as I was saying before, that's part you forgot, to resolve their sex issues and negotiate terms for her sexual compliance. He'll promise to do the dishes and a load of laundry more often in exchange for a feigned sexual interest in him, right? Because remember what I said, negotiation only leads to obligated compliance. There you go. Yet no matter what terms are offered, no matter how great an external effort he makes so deserving of reward, the genuine desire is not there for her. In fact, she feels worse for not having the desire after such efforts were made for her compliance. Women tend to feel guilty when a guy starts making efforts. He actually does make some, I'm going to start, hey, and I'm actually going out there, I'm changing the diaper, I'm doing the things you said you wanted me to do, and she still doesn't feel it for him. We went to marriage counseling. We did all these things. We agreed to this. We sat down at the negotiation table, like a hostage negotiation, right? We sat down at the table and we negotiated these things. And I'm supposed to fuck him because he is honestly making an effort. He's doing what he said he was going to do. And I still don't it doesn't make me wet. I still don't want to fuck this guy. Why? Okay. So women tend to feel guilty even when the guy actually has some form of compliance, right? It's because of this. Negotiated desire only ever leads to obligated compliance. This is why duty sex will never fly, especially in the 21st century. Duty sex is a dead end. And again, I brought this up on Pat Campbell's show as late as 2018, I think. I remember, God, I was on there and I remember Carly, was it? I forget her, Carly something. Carly was his producer in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I remember I said, sex is the glue that holds a relationship together. And God, you could hear this collective gasp in the studio, like, oh, I can't believe he just said that. Right? I'm like, because amongst women want to believe that marriage is more than just fucking. They do. They really want to think that there's something else. It's the Bible or it's God or it's something else.
There's a higher purpose.
There's a higher purpose. It's the kids. It's the family. It's the dog in the yard. And it's like, yeah, I'm glad that's important. That is important. But all of that is downstream from you sucking. It really is. And with just wanton, lustful, visceral, carnal, monkey sex abandon. That's what it's so much. You need to fuck him so much that porn doesn't even enter into his brain. You want to have all this important stuff when it comes to, family and grandkids and Thanksgiving dinner and you know, and all this love and is going to church and having this nice nuclear family. Oh, that's great. 100% agree with you. Start fucking him. That's all it takes. All it takes. I can't believe he's got a porn addiction. I can, because you're not fucking him. You're not fucking him with the same intensity he has to bring every day to his burden of performance. And if he's the guy that you say, I could never do any better than this guy. He's so fucking awesome. Why are you not fucking him like you could never do any better than him and he's so fucking awesome? Why? I don't know. I just don't feel it. He doesn't look like Aquaman. Okay. This is why, so negotiated desire only ever leads to obligated compliance. This is why her post-negotiation sexual response is so often so lackluster and the source of even further frustration on his part. She may be more sexually available to him, but the half-hearted experience is never the same as when they first met and there was no negotiation, just spontaneous desire for each other. When guys hit me up and they're like, Rolo, I lost the frame. I've lost my frame with the girl. I don't know how to get it back. How do I get the frame back? Right? How do I get the desire? Really what they're asking me is, how do I get her to desire me? How do I get her to want to fuck me again? I get guys who are still married. They've been in marriages longer than mine, right? And they are in sexless marriages and have been so for, that's one of the reasons I started Reignite, right? They've been in these relationships for a long time and they don't want to divorce their wife. They're still very much in love with their wives. They love them. They just want to turn the sex spigot back on. And so what do you say? Get back in the gym, start doing this. I have a whole 4-chapter, say it's a reconstruction project. It's actually called the Reconstruction. There's 4 chapters in my 3rd book. It's called Positive Masculinity. And I specifically wrote it for guys who are in that situation. Rolo, I don't want to break up with my wife. I don't want to divorce her. And it's not even so much financial as they're really still in love with her. They wouldn't divorce her if it weren't for the fact that they weren't getting sex, period. And I go, I don't feel sexy. I'm fat. He's fat. This is that. Like a guy's getting shape, like at what point is it going to change? Like, how do you go about making that change? How do you instigate real, genuine desire once more? Sometimes it's too far gone and sometimes it's not. Sometimes you might be able to get yourself back into shape and you might be able to but again, it requires such a level of dedication and such an intensity to that burden of performance that most of the guys just simply don't have it. Like they're like, it would be easier for them to just simply divorce her and start from scratch. It would be easier for them to do that. And unfortunately, that's usually how it ends up. Right? You want to know why gray divorce is at least for guys. If guys initiate a divorce in a gray divorce, it's usually because they're in a sexless marriage and it's just simply untenable for them anymore. Or they're in a sexless marriage and the wife is just like, I can't deal with this guy anymore. I don't even want to be around him anymore. All he wants me to do is suck. I can't even fathom the thought. It just makes me hurl. I'm disgusted. Women are physical revulsion at the thought of fucking their husband. If that's where you're at, dude, you're done. Just get the fuck. It's time to leave. And I hate to put that fine a point on it, but you just need to get done. Like sometimes that's the only way out. Okay, so this is where her post-negotiation sexual response is why her response is so often lackluster. Okay, I got to that part. From the male perspective, and particularly that of an uninitiated beta male, negotiation of desire seems like a rational solution to the problem. Men tend to innately rely on deductive reasoning, otherwise known as if-then logic. The code is often something like this. I need sex, plus women have the sex I want, plus query the woman about their conditions for sex, plus meet those prerequisites for sex equals I get the sex that I want. Okay. This is the deductive sort of like follow-on logic. Okay. I need sex. I ask her what I need to do to get the sex. She tells me what those conditions are. I meet those conditions, and then she's supposed to reciprocate with sex. But it doesn't happen that way because this entire stream here, this entire thread is based on rationalism and not emotionalism. As I said, you cannot reason a woman into bed. So if you go and say, okay, I found out, I realized I need to get laid. She's not wanting to fuck me. 2, she's got the sex I want. 3, I ask her what I have to do to make her come around and want to fuck me. 4, I do all of those things. And then it comes down to, okay, I did what you told me. I did what the counselor said. I did what the marriage counselor said. I did what the Bible said. I did what my duty is. I did all this good stuff. Time to fuck. And she might, but she's just like, okay. Are you done yet?
Starfish in it.
I have laundry to fold. You know, the kids are over at my sister's that they're not gonna want to be there that long. Like, did you ever see American Beauty?
No.
With Kevin Spacey's in it, and I forget the other chick who was in there. There's a scene, and I brought this up before. There's a scene in there. It's the infamous couch scene. I've written an essay about that. It's where like Kevin Spacey is in a sexless, sort of loveless marriage with his wife. And this is like right after he got fired from his job, but he got like a $30,000 like severance thing, or because he had his employer by the balls. He was blackmailing his employer. So he had this money. And so he was just at one point he decided that he wasn't going to be the guy who like jerks off in bed anymore, like, because that's what was going on at that point. And so he puts the moves on her, and she responds. She's like, she reciprocates, like, yeah. They're about to fuck on the couch, and he's got a beer with him, and he's like, he trades in his car, and he buys like some, like, I don't know, bitchin' Camaro or something like that he wants, and he's like, I wanted it, I've always wanted it, and I got it. I am awesome, you know. And so she starts responding to this because he has this sort of character flip. He becomes the husband who fucks, right? And so he starts putting the moves on her on the couch, and she's into it, and she's really about it and stuff. And then he's got the beer, and he's just about to like spill the beer on the couch, and you can see like the beer's doing like this, and then her eyes are like like that. And he's like, "What?" He goes, "You're gonna spill the beer on the couch," and he goes, "It's a fucking couch."
Never mind. I remember the movie now. Yeah.
What's funny is like the guy who wrote that is gay, and I don't know how he got this like so fucking perfect. But it's like I was watching that, and I go, that's the difference between genuine desire and mitigated desire. If she's the one who's going, "You're gonna get it on the couch," she's more concerned with the fucking couch than fucking you, right? Remember, women break rules for alphas and they make rules for betas. It's going to get on the couch is a fucking rule, and it's a shit test. And of course, it breaks the whole thing. Like everything that led up to that, and this is the magic that was just about to happen. He was going to ride his wife to glory for the first time in a long time. Ruined because of he almost spilled the beer on the couch. And it's like, I realize it's a movie, but like the truth behind it is like just the example of it was just so perfect. So if you're ever wondering like the difference between negotiated desire, genuine desire is who Kevin Spacey was. And even Kevin Spacey's gay, right? Kevin Spacey was, as far as his, like that character was when he was sort of rekindling that sort of genuine desire in his wife by not doing what she wanted, by being fucking obstinate, right? By being the man. And that's why he got pissed off. It's just a fucking couch, right? And had things gone down differently, they might have still been fucking after that, right? But it didn't, because she was more concerned with the couch than she was with fucking her husband, because there's no genuine desire for the guy, right? And she was just basically, really, it's a shit test to see, is he really like this? Let me see. It's a couch. Yeah. Makes sense, right? Let's see. Push me back up there real quick. There we go. Makes sense, right? It's simple economics, but built on a foundation that relies on a woman's accurate self-evaluations. The genuine desire they used to experience at the outset of the relationship was predicated upon a completely unknown set of variables. Okay, this is when you don't know that person as well. Right. This is one of the reasons why we have such good sex when we're like not married, when we're like premarital sex. The reason why it's so fucking good is because there's no familiarity there. There's urgency, there's anxiety, but there's not this teddy bear, like, oh, I know what he's all about kind of thing. It's that I think a lot of people don't understand that like hot monkey sex, like the kind of sex that like that you really want to be having, the kind the kind that you're made aware of by pornography. The reason why that is so engrossing, I think, is because it's based on urgency. And it's based on there is no couch, right? There's only fucking. There's no beer. There's no couch. You don't care about it. Because as I said before, women will break rules for alpha males. Breaking a rule would be, I don't care what happens to this couch. I'm fucking this guy. Making rules are the couch, right? Making rules is I need romance. Making rules is you need to do more diapers. You need to do more laundry. You need to wash more dishes. You need to do these things, jump through these hoops, Junior, and you'll get cookie time for good boy. If you are in that position, you are never going to have sex the way you think you're going to have sex. Right? Remember what I said? Like anytime a woman makes you wait for sex, sex is never worth the wait. That's not just for when you're single. That's also for when you're fucking married. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
So if your woman says, well, I'm not going to have sex with you. I don't want to have the Lord said you're supposed to fucking do more dishes and do more around the house and be my helper and jump through all these hoops, including all the shit you had to do at work and everything else that you have to do in addition to all your responsibilities, right? But you have to do all this shit. And then I might be in the mood because I'll be relaxed. Like draw a bath for mama. And maybe after I get out of the tub, then I'll want to fuck you. But you got to sprinkle fucking rose petals in it for me, right? All of that stuff, all that shit, all of those rules, all of those things, that's when a woman, that's your wife making rules for you because you're a beta chump. And she knows she's married to a beta chump who will jump through those fucking hoops to get to that pussy, that golden. And you know why it's that golden pussy? Because it's the only one he's ever going to get. It's the only, because now he's married, and forsaking all others, man, to do anything else would be a venal sin. To not want to fuck your wife would be a venal. So, well, what do I got to do to fuck my wife? Well, I really want to have sex. I'm a man. I need to fuck. I want to get after it, right? And I want her. And guys don't want fucking lackluster bullshit sex. They'd rather pay a hooker for a better performance than the one that they get from their wives. What was it? I forget the girl's name. There's a girl on a Substack right now who is a professional escort, and she writes like essays about like her experience of being an escort. And one of them is, does she like deal with married men almost exclusively? In fact, her regular clients are almost all married men. She said at least 90% of them are. And she said there's like a couple different like categories of these guys. Most of them are guys who can't believe they're doing it, and they realize what they're about to do, but they are going to go through with it because they want to fucking have a real decent sexual experience because they've been so deprived from having any kind of sex or having lackluster sex for so long. And then they get used to it and they come back, right? And then there's the guys who they've already made up their mind and they're just going to have sex no matter what, and then they're going to go back to their wives and they're never going to leave their wives, and they're never going to they're still very much in love with their wives, but they're just not getting the kind of sex that they want to, or if they're getting sex at all from their wives. Like it's not fucking brain surgery, man. Ladies, if you're having a problem with your man, fuck him. Fuck him. Like, try it, right? Like, just try it, right? And I'm not saying don't do it I'm telling you to do it if you don't feel like it, but like, why don't you, like, maybe this is a better question. Why don't you feel like fucking him? What is it about him that makes you want to make those rules so that he has to jump through those hoops and obey your rules before he gets the fucking magic hoo-hoo? Like, why? What is it that's prompting you? And why are you looking into like your holy books to fucking justify your bullshit actions? Your bullshit actions is this: I don't want to fuck him. Okay. Instead of trying to make up fucking rationales for it through the Bible or the Quran or whatever the fuck it is, like instead of that, why are you not just like, why are you not saying, well, why don't I want to fuck this guy? It's certainly not because he doesn't do fucking laundry. It's certainly not because he's not chopping wood or fucking doing dishes or something like that. It has nothing to do with that. You didn't have to worry about that. Those weren't fucking prerequisites before you got married. You didn't care whether he washed dishes when you were single. You just wanted to fuck him because you're afraid somebody like your girlfriends are going to fuck him before you do. It wasn't anything about that. So what is it? Like, maybe that's better. Maybe women who are watching this and you're having a problem with your husbands or whatever, it's easy for me to say, I'm a guy, right? So it's easy for me to say, like, the solution is to have good fucking like hot monkey sex with the guy. Appreciate him for fucking being what he is. Well, I don't want to have sex with him because I don't appreciate him. I don't this, da, da, da. Okay, well, at least fucking like be honest with yourself and tell yourself that. Let me finish the rest of this here. Okay, so the genuine desire they used to experience at the outset of the relationship was predicated upon a completely unknown set of variables, right? Overtly communicating a desire for a reciprocal desire creates obligation and sometimes even ultimatums. Like, if you don't fuck me, I'm going to do this. Genuine desire is something a person must come to or be led to on their own volition. You can force a woman by threat to comply with behaving in a desired manner, but you cannot make her want to behave that way. A prostitute will fuck you for an exchange. It doesn't mean she wants to be fucking you. Whether a long-term relationship or a one-night stand, strive for genuine desire in your relationships. Half the battle is knowing that you want to be with a woman who wants to please you, not one who feels obligated to you. You will never draw this genuine desire from her by overt means, but you can covertly lead her to genuine desire. The trick in provoking real desire is in keeping her ignorant of your intent to provoke it. Again, that's the reason why I'm not trying to be duplicitous. I'm just saying it's the observer effect. Observing a process changes the process. Play with her and play with her. Women don't want to be told that they're playing a game. They want you to be a good player of that game. Real desire is created by her thinking it's something she wants, not something she has to do. Remember what the flower girl said. I want a guy to bring me flowers, but I don't want to have to tell him that he should bring me flowers. He should just know this. He should pick it up, either by my actions or by my body language or by whatever. He should intrinsically, instinctively know that I'm the kind of girl who likes to have flowers. Okay, fine. I think that a woman should want to suck, and she should instinctively know how I like to have it and when I like to have it. And I shouldn't have to tell her that she should want to be sucked. Okay? How is that any different than getting flowers? I mean, from a desire standpoint, you should know this. You know why? Because you want to. You want to know it. I should know that you want flowers because I should be interested enough in you to know that you're the kind of girl that wants flowers. Okay. If I have to take that kind of time, it's not about mind reading. It's about reading cues. It's about picking up on instincts. It's all this stuff. Okay, great. I can get you those flowers and I'll make it seem like I'm fucking magic. The guy that gives her flowers without it happening, he seems like God. He seems like, oh man, you're a really special guy. No, he just picked up on the instincts and figured it out, right? Well, how come I can't apply that and say, well, you should know that I really like to have you, reverse. So come on in here and let's get started, right? Doesn't happen that way because in a gynocentric social order, we are expected to be mind readers, but we are also expected to defer to women's authority. That's why we're expected to meet her needs before we're supposed to meet before we even, as if there's even any consideration for what the fuck your need. How many guys have ever said that? Well, she's not meeting my needs. And how many guys would have accepted that? Well, what do you mean? She's not fucking me. That's my needs. Well, maybe you're not doing enough, mister. Maybe you're not folding enough laundry. Maybe you're not cleaning enough glasses. You didn't have to say that to her. You didn't have to say that to her. Like, you just instinctively picked up, well, you're not meeting her needs. Well, what would those be? Well, she needs you to do the laundry and needs you to do this and needs you to do all this other shit, right? Like, why is that? Why does this conversation start with the woman's needs before the man's needs? Especially if you're a convicted Christian and you believe that a man is he's got to be a servant leader. He's the leader of the household and he's the primary in that married relationship. If that's the case, then you have no fucking argument.